Let's look at what the Asian markets are doing this morning. Seems like a bit of a muted to a mixed signal is what we're watching out for in terms of the Asian markets. Most of them have opened up in the red, right? Look at the Taiwan index. That's down 0.6%. Hang Seng down 0.6% as well. Nikkei, that's also very muted in today's trading session. 0.4% of decline coming in for Nikkei as well. Shanghai, 0.3% of decline. So most of them have opened up in the red. Now, Nifty implied open. Let's look at that. Yesterday, while we saw the Nifty keep the momentum in terms of the gains, today Nifty implied open is also indicating a muted start. A bit of a red is what we could watch out for on the screens today. 0.2% of decline right now is what the Nifty implied open is indicating. But there are a lot of global cues that came in overnight. How is that going to be impacting our Indian markets? What are the stocks that you should be keeping an eye out on? F&O strategy that you should watch out for today. We have a team of research joining in with us. And before I go to our team of research, let me set you up for trade as well. Firstly, talking about the US markets, that's a bit of a sell-off coming in yesterday's trading session. Wall Street closed in the red. Whether you look at the Dow, S&P 500 or the Nasdaq, all these three indices were in the red, and this came in after there was some bad loan crisis that came in from some of these regional banks. Now, other than that, we also had commentary that came in from President Donald Trump. He said about the meeting with Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, that could take place in 2 weeks or so. That's a highlight coming in there. So let's watch out for that in terms of more details that could come in there. Other than that, FIIs, they continue to be buyers in yesterday's trading session. So 997 crore buy coming in from FIIs, DIIs strong buying there as well. 4,000 crore plus buying from the DII front. Today we'll keep an eye out on a listing as well. We have Canara HSBC Life Insurance that is listing today. So watch out for that one. And important cues in terms of result reaction that we'll be seeing coming in from some of these IT companies, Infosys, Wipro, LTI, Mindtree. Other than that, we also had Geo Financials that reported their numbers, and Metro Brands. Keep an eye out on that. Important earnings to watch out for today. Obviously, we have Reliance Industries that is going to be reporting their numbers. Other than that, Havells India, India Cements, JSW Steel, Energy Technology Services are some of these companies. Keep an eye out on MCX. They were going to be levying some additional margins of 2% on silver futures. So we'll keep an eye out on silver in the world of commodities as well. Other than that, yesterday Nifty had a very good run, 25,600. Just below that mark is what the Nifty closed. Today, a bit of a muted session is what we're watching out for. But let's talk about the important stocks that you should be keeping on your radar today. For that, we have Gaurav joining in with us this morning. Good morning, Gaurav.
Well, let's start with some big names. First, let's talk about Infosys. When we look at net profit, that was a bit above our guidance. But at the same time, when we look at the revenue, the guidance for margins, they have actually, margins for the revenue growth, they have actually increased the lower end of the guidance from 1% to 2%. So when we look at this, Street is not taking it in the positive way is what we are penciling in, because the stock which is trading overseas is down almost by 2%. When we talk about Wipro, let's also look at the numbers there. The Wipro's IT revenue that actually came in line with our expectation, and at the same time, EBITDA margin that came in at around 16.7% versus our poll of 16.8%. Let's also talk about Sand, LTI Mindtree. When we look at the numbers, net profit that came in at around 1,381 crores versus our pool of 1,227 crores. And at the same time, margins, they also improved. They came in at around 15.9%. Let's also talk about Cyient. When we look at the net profit, that declined almost by 28% on a year-on-year basis, while revenue, that declined almost by 4%. JSW Infra, that also came up with the numbers where we saw net profit actually declining almost by 3%, while revenue, that increased almost by 27%. So there was a bit of a pressure in terms of the profit that company reported. Punjab and Sindh Bank, here we saw good set of numbers because net profit that increased almost by 23% on a year-on-year basis. And lastly, let's also talk about Metro Brands, because we saw net profit once again in this company being under pressure. It came down almost by 4% on a year-on-year basis. Apart from numbers, let's also talk about BEML, because company is going to collaborate with Kineco for manufacturing of aerospace and defense applications. And let's also not forget about Godrej Industries today, because company said that they are going to increase their stake in one of the subsidiaries, Godrej Capital, from 90.89 to 91.11. So definitely watching out on all these stocks for a treat today.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Gaurav. But time to go across to Sudarshan, who's going to tell us what to watch out for in the world of F&O. Sudarshan, yesterday 25,600 that we saw coming in for the Nifty. But today, what are we keeping an eye out on?
Good morning, Vinny. So after Big Bang Thursday, will we have Happy Friday? Well, the cues remain mixed. Positive part is that FIs have turned buyers both in the cash market as well as in the futures comfortably. But on the domestic front, the earnings that we have got from Infosys and Wipro both were mixed. Like TCS had earnings that were largely in line with expectations. Other mid-cap IT companies had reported earnings that were good, but Infosys and Wipro have failed to boost the sentiment. Yesterday, we saw Nifty crossing the level of 25,600, Nifty Bank approaching the record high. Now, ahead of Saturday, we have big earnings coming. HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, RBL Bank, a whole lot of companies will be reporting earnings. So, I'm not sure if market will go over to the weekend with big gains. As far as Gift Nifty is concerned, it's indicating a start with a minor cut, currently down almost 40 points. Now coming to the flows. Yesterday we saw FIs buying almost 1,000 crore in the cash market. DIs too remain on the buy side, bought more than rupees 4,000 crore. In the index futures too, FIs have bought more than rupees 5,000 crore. Now, longs exposure has increased to 14%. That's the highest in this series as of now. And also, they've added long positions of more than 12,000 contracts, reduced short positions of more than 13,000 contracts. Now, on the options data, one call option, which was the most active, was 25,800, where we have seen addition of almost 38 lakh shares in the open interest, with premium rising to 23. And 25,500 call has seen shedding of almost 39 lakh shares in the open interest, and the premium has fallen to 163. On the put side, 25,500 and 25,400 put were the most active ones. So support for Nifty now moved higher to in the range of 25,350 to 25,400. Resistance 25,670. For Nifty Bank, support has moved higher to 57,000 and resistance to record high around 57,600. One stock remains in the bank, Saman Capital. Some of the stocks that have seen fresh longs, Cyient ahead of earnings had seen fresh longs. We'll have to see how the company reacts, and Titan remains in the focus. Yesterday also, there was a fresh long in the stock.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Sudarshan. Important cues in the world of FNO. But